Hi, I'm Olivia Race, AMGA instructor team member, hanging out here in Red Rock. And there are several different ways we can ascend a rope if we need to. I'm starting with the most fundamental skills that we can use. A prusik for my waist, and then a climb heist on a double length sling for my foot. The biggest thing to figure out in here is how long we want these slings to be, and it matters how they relate to one another. So it's a good thing to practice and get a feel for what's the ideal length for your body size and your cordage. Couple of quick tricks: if I need to adjust the length on the foot, I can give it an extra wrap, or I could girth hitch it, but I can take up some slack pretty easily that way. And I'm just going to alternate back and forth. Right now, sitting on the waist prusik, and then standing, so I can move that waist prusik up. Here I've used the hollow block, which I find works pretty well for me as my waist prusik attachment. You'll also notice I have this backed up. I'm hanging on a single friction hitch. My foot climb heist is not attached to my body, so I want to be sure that I have a backup in case this fails. Here I've chosen to use a clove hitch, and then as I climb, I can take slack in through that clove hitch. You'll notice there's an easy way to take slack through a clove hitch. If you kind of push and see, this is what I want to get rid of. Okay, that's where it's coming out of. I'm going to pull all the slack I want to get rid of and then pop it through the other side. And you can see I make pretty good progress with each of these because the length works well in relation to each sling. One thing I need to watch as I'm ascending, my waist carabiner will often want to cross load and load across the gate. So I just want to make sure it stays in this proper orientation. So here we've added to the system, stepping beyond just simple cord, and added a gree-gree. Now, because the gree-gree is my waist attachment, I need to have my foot prusik actually above the device or above my waist attachment instead of below. Now I can stand up, pull slack in. Notice here how that carabiner wants to cross load. So I'll fix that, and then I can stand up. I can add a non-locking carabiner to my hollow block here, and then redirect my brake strand through that. I still have my foot loop, which I can step into. And now I give myself a bit of an assisted 3-to-1 haul. Another option is to add something in like a reverso for my waist in the auto locking mode. So I have the ear of the device clipped into my belay loop and locked. And then a micro traction for the foot. And as I pull up, that's also feeding the rope through the device for me. Pros and cons for this particular setup. The micro traction moves super easily for my foot prusik. I don't have to break it like the climb heist. The reverso in auto locking mode, it gives me an additional backup. You'll see I still have it backed up here in case I let go of my brake hand, but that is locking, it locks very well. The redirect, I'm getting a 3-to-1 advantage as I pull myself up the rope. As we add different devices into the system, it gets easier to manage because these things tend to move more easily over the rope. We don't have to break something like the climb heist. They also have the added advantage of grabbing onto skinnier ropes, wet, icy ropes better than a piece of fabric might. The main downside to a system like this is we need to have these pieces of gear with us, and if we don't, we just need to have something that we can fall back to, a more basic system. My personal favorite method is to use a Garda for the foot attachment. It gives you a ton of throw each time you move that foot. Ideally, we have 2 matching non-locking carabiners. For me, a shoulder length sling works well. I girth hitch those around the carabiners to keep them in place. And to tie the Garda, I need a little bit of slack. I pass the rope into both carabiners, under both, and then through the middle. And that will move in an upward position and lock when I pull down on it. The reason I like this is it's super easy to move the foot attachment, despite the fact that it's a pretty basic tool. Now, we've gone through a lot of different ways to ascend a rope here. We can mix and match, it could be the micro traction and the reverso, or a foot prusik, or climb heist. But these are all just different tools we can throw into that tool bag that can help us if we ever need to ascend a rope.